Hello and welcome to this first of two videos with me, Rebecca Walker, and joined as always by Richard Walker.
Hi.
Hi. And in the next two videos then, we're going to be having a little look at mill decks and basically ways that we can try and work around them, things that work well against them, and just sort of discussion on how they are in the meta at the moment. So on the left then, I'm playing just a normal Stark Fealty deck, and Richard on the right is playing a Tyrell Lion mill deck. So there's certain cards that have come out recently that have made mill a lot more, well, what's the word? Fucking annoying.
Better?
Yeah. So Richard, run us through the key parts of your Tyrell Lion deck here.
Key parts of the deck. I guess the key to the mill deck, like there's some obnoxious mill decks like pillage decks. Like they're just not very interactive, not really fun to play against. They just pillage your deck away until you've got nothing left. The Tyrell mill deck kind of, you draw cards, so you actually will draw all of your cards, so you can choose which one to keep. Problem is, generally you're discarding a lot of them because of your reserve.
Exactly, yeah.
So it's not as horrible as some mill decks, but it is horrible nonetheless.
So we had a sort of practice game before we recorded the game, just to make sure that we both knew how the mill deck worked, and basically get some experience playing it. And playing against it, it was kind of fun in a way because it was amusing to see how it worked. When it gets going, it's absolutely insane. So certainly the practice game we played, you smashed me and milled me quite easily. And then obviously we have this game here that we've recorded, which we'll see how it goes. But this is the, how mill works, mill in action.
It's a race.
It is a bit of a race. And having played against a mill deck in the practice game, I realised that it is a race. So what you really want to be trying to do is get as much power as quickly as possible by getting renown characters out. Unfortunately, mill decks are also aware of this and will be running milks.
Yeah, so, like we say, it is a race. So what the mill player has to do is set up the board so they can continually discard your cards. But it does take time to set up the board because there are some things the mill deck needs. One thing is, the key is the Queen's Retinue.
Yes.
That's the card that has really spawned the mill deck into viability at the moment, because we know Hanno took Tyrell Kraken to UK Throne War, went 4-3, milled a couple of people. Very good. So this is basically the next part of that with the Queen's Retinue, kind of makes it really, really strong. But the Tyrell Kraken is less
interactive?
Yeah, it is, because it's mainly based on pillage as well.
So your opponent doesn't even get to see the cards in their hand, it just goes straight into the discard pile.
Yeah.
Which is sad. At least with playing against the Tyrell Lion, I was going to get cards in hand. Like, I didn't bother putting out a lot of my draw stuff because as a mill deck that where you were trying to give me loads of cards, I didn't have to worry about making sure I could trigger my old gates. I didn't have to worry about playing out mace really early so that I could draw cards. It was just a case of, okay, I know I'm going to get a lot of cards. I know I need to rush. I need to put my renown characters out. So you've played Gift of Ava Red, where we reveal the top 4 cards. And I think you took the Ghost of High Heart, which is also quite annoying in your deck. So she obviously is another way of drawing, getting your opponent to draw cards and getting through that deck. But also it lets you look at the opponent's hand and check what it is that they have been drawing and get rid of anything that you think might be a problem. Yeah,
so one of the keys to playing a mill deck is to get your opponent to draw cards.
And we can see you've opened with Late Summer Feast to sort of tempt the unknowing player into drawing cards and that forced reaction. You can, of course, decline to draw a card if you so wish. So against a mill deck, that is definitely advised.
Yeah, there are a couple of ways the Tyrell Lion can make you draw cards. So the Queen's Retinue. you put her into play from shadows, and then each opponent draws 2 cards. So one of the key combos is you play that, your opponent get 2 cards, you put them into a challenge, you pop unexpected Guile onto them, and they will come back to the shadows afterwards, and then you can just trigger them, pop them out again, draw another 2 cards. So, I mean, it's annoying when you have 1, but if you can get all 3 early,
that's insane.
You can bring them all out, and then the other key becomes when you have all 3 or at least 2, you can play Clever Feint.
Yeah.
So you can use the Lannister event to bring all 3 back into shadows, and then just bring them all out again.
Yeah.
But the best time to do it, obviously, is when your opponent has a low reserve and lots of cards in hand. So then they'll just have to discard more, and they can't use all the stuff you're giving them.
So we saw you using the glass candle there. So the glass candle in a mill deck, they don't care what your top card is. They're going to get rid of it anyway. And now also using the Ghost of High Heart to look at my hand, of which you can see is absolutely enormous already, for me to discard and draw another. So you've played the Gift of Arbor Red. I think it's a Dragon's Tail as well, isn't it, in the discard there? So that's 3 extra cards. You played the Queen's Retinue, so that's 5 extra cards. The Ghost of High Heart, 6, and Glass Candles. That's 7 cards that you've got off the top of my deck as an extra amount. So that's 10 cards nearly that I've gone through just this first round. So that's a lot of cards to lose so quickly.
So out the card in your hand, I discard the Northern Armory, and the reasoning behind that is because Wyman, I'm happy for you to have lots of Wyman.
Oh yeah, I said Mace earlier, I meant Wyman.
Oh no, yeah. You got Caitlin Stark. Well, that's not really a problem because the unaffected Guile is a forced interrupt that brings them back to shadows, so fine. I got rid of the Northern Armory. Don't know if that is the right thing, but I got rid of it because less economy will hinder your ability to put things on the board, and a stand will also slow you down because you'll get less efficiency from your characters. Yeah,
so I think it was the right decision. If I get another renown character later, I'm going to be wanting to try and use that renown character as much as possible, and you'd stop me from doing that.
It's important to point out that we put the Queen's Retinue into play in the marshalling phase.
Yeah.
Because the last Hearth Scouts are a little bit annoying. They do slow down the combo with Unexpected Guile and Queen's Retinue. Because Unexpected Guile only returns the character to hand after the challenge they've been participating in is over. So if they come into play now in the challenges phase, you won't be able to use them.
You won't, but as you put them out in the marshalling phase, it's absolutely fine to do this. So you put them out in marshalling phase, I still have to draw 2, you still get to use a character in the challenges phase, put them back into shadows, and then you can bring them back out in the dominance phase, for example, or in the challenges phase if you wanted, and I still have to draw an extra 2 cards, even if they come in the challenges phase, they are knelt.
Yeah, one thing to point out is I've never played Mill before, apart from the practice game before this. So I don't know. One thing I was conscious of is it a good thing for me to be doing challenges? Like, should I be getting power on my house card? Because then my opponent could steal it and go quicker. Maybe that's not a good thing. So I wasn't sure if I was actually supposed to be trying to...
Yeah.
Like...
I actually advised you wrongly here. I said, you should do the power challenge because then you'll get an unopposed power. And I'll get a power for you to steal. But actually, it would have been better for you not to do the power challenge.
Yeah, I would have just taken Dom, but either way I'll get power on my house card. I'm not sure if I really want that, because the more power I have on my house card, which means you can actually get something from power claim, which will speed you up.
Yeah, either way you were going to get power on your house card, but we could have prevented me from getting the power on my house card, which I think is what the mill deck wants to try and stop you doing, because you are trying to make sure I don't rush to the win, which I'm definitely not doing at this point in time.
It's worth pointing out the restricted card in the mill deck is the Dragon's Tail.
Yeah.
So, seems good. Drawing 2 cards. One other thing we had a question on was the mill deck runs the Shield Islands, which each player draws an extra card when they draw in the draw phase. And, so if you play Dragon's Tail in the draw phase, as a draw phase action... Does that mean you both draw 3 cards?
I mean, I would guess yes, because it's in the draw phrase. It says about drawing cards, so I don't see why that wouldn't apply. But, if there's any rules lawyers out there that know differently, it would be interesting to know.
Yeah.
That'd be an extra speedy way for the mill deck to work. And as I say, we're not really mill deck players normally, so we might be missing a couple of tricks here. Apologies if we miss anything obvious.
So talking strategy of mill, Hanno played Tyrell Kraken. That is designed obviously just to pillage away your cards. Mm-hmm. But the other way mill works is if you're slowed down, if you can't put characters on the board, or you can't afford anything, then that also slows you down and gives the mill player more time to get rid of your deck.
Yeah.
So the other thing that the Kraken banner brought were things like Night Flyer to get rid of your economy cards.
Yeah.
So you can't put out, damaging cards and you can't rush faster. The Lion approach is more. The Lion banner brings to you Clever Feint. Yeah. So you can put cards back into shadows. It gives you King Tommen 3 of. Mm-hmm. So if King Plot comes out.
It's protection, basically, isn't it, against players running the King Plot?
Yeah, you can get your Tommen out, and you can still trigger your Retinue that turn, and your Ghost of High Hearts. So that's handy. What else does the Lion banner bring? One of the key cards, I think, is the Alchemist Guildhall. Yeah. So that is a character ability cancel, which is vital. There it is.
Yeah, it's really annoying.
It's really for your opponent running Citadel Archivist. So if your opponent puts an Archivist in the bin, you can cancel it with the Guildhall, and then, because it's really sad for a mill player if everything gets shuffled back into the deck.
Yeah. The other thing that you used in this Lion banner was the Brothel Madam, which we can see in the discard pile there. You decided to discard her for reserve. But when she was out, she was quite irritating. When your hand is really full, you're tempted to play out loads of cards. And it was so easy just to forget that you had a Brothel Madam out and not save that 1 gold, which was quite frustrating. I did it a couple of times when we were practicing and then realised that I couldn't attack in military, which had been my plan all along.
That's really soft choke, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just basically like you're controlling their gold, aren't you? It's just making them have 1 less gold. So you'll kind of give me an extra gold with the Gates of the Moon there, which may or may not be the best card in this kind of deck. You might be better just playing Red Wine Straits or Arbor or something. But it does let you do all your tricks. However, it does help the other player to splurge out all those cards that you're giving them. But that Brothel Madam counters the gates. Brothel
Madam means your Gates of the Moon is basically 3 gold, right? As
yeah,
long as they want to attack you. So, yeah, and there is another card I've imported from the Lion banner, and that is Without His Beard. Because again, it makes your opponent draw 2 cards.
So, again, I'm trying to get out Renown characters and things like that. So Sons in a House Renown. Also got Mage there. Daisy even, sorry. So, they're both going to help me try and sort of rack up that Renown. Obviously, Rob can't at the moment with the milk. I did want to also just say thank you to Hanno and Whammer. They gave us some cool ideas for the mill deck and some advice. So we appreciate your help there, guys.
Yeah, definitely.
The other card we've not really talked about is the Nefarious Acolyte there.
Agreed, yeah.
So he is really, really good in decks that are running counter plots. So things like barring the gates can be quite irritating for the retinue coming in and out. So you can just use the Acolyte, blank the plot, and then you're sorted. So they're quite frustrating when you feel like you've got a counter as the opponent, and the Acolyte can just cancel it.
Yeah, I mean, in the Kingdom of Shadows deck, some people didn't like the Acolyte because you had to pay 4 to marshal it, and then that's a 5th gold to actually turn off the bar and the gate plot. Whereas in this deck, it's fine. You've got a Maester for your glass candle in case you want that insight. And you do want to see your own card just as much as you do your opponent, because no matter how quickly you blow through your own deck, it'll be worse for your opponent.
Yeah.
And so, they go well with the glass candle, and they're okay to sit on the board.
You've also got left and right, and again, these are really, really good stalling mechanism for the mill deck.
Yes.
Non-kneeling defense is always a pain in the bottom. And generally you had good initiative on your plots. Obviously the gates here meant that I got
the two that I played are 0.
yeah. But you won the coin toss on the first go. So first go is generally luck. A lot of first plots are 0 initiative nowadays. And then the gates here, I made you first, and all you've done is just pass your challenges, which just slows you down ever so slightly. But as you say, you're not that bothered about getting power gain anyway. So you're not too worried about attacking. I think you're quite happy just to sit and defend.
Yep. Yeah, so to go to high heart, it makes left and right 4 strength each.
Yeah. Stupid.
That's handy. And with Angai the Archer, also non-kneeling and military, because, this deck could suffer quite heavily to heavy military. I don't know what it would do if you don't see the duplicates, because otherwise your character just get murdered and you can't keep anything on the board, which means you're really relying on the retinue to discard card.
Yeah.
Because you won't be able to keep your glass candle around.
So would you say that high military sort of strength against the mill deck is good?
Could be.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the only problem with that is, as you say, the retinue, they can just jump back into shadows when needed. You also have Dragon's Tails and Gift of Our Bread and stuff like that. So the mill player can still get that mill going. It's just they won't have characters on the board to stop you getting those unopposed.
Yeah, if your opponent has a lot of characters on the board, that's generally bad for you because they can win challenges, and if they've got renown, it's even worse.
Which is why mill decks quite often do run a reset or two. So I believe in this mill deck you run Valador Hydas and Valar Morghulis.
Yeah.
So if things do look like they're getting to be a problem on the other side of the board, there are resets available for the mill player to slow you down again.
I guess the most important character in the mill deck is the Queen's Retinue, and if you can get them back into shadow with the Guile or the Clever Feint and then reset, it's fine, right?
Yeah.
So that's good. So stalling is an important part of mill. If you can stall your opponent, it's just a hell of a lot easier. I do also run Uneasy Truce. Which is the one where after you initiate a challenge, you must give your opponent a power. So that disincentivises your opponent doing challenges and slows the game down. Meanwhile, you can still play your mill cards like Dragon's Tail and Queen's Retinue as long as you have the money to do so.
Yeah. You've also got the, I can't remember the name of it, but you've got a card that lets you play events that are in your discard pile.
Yep, the Emissary of the High Tower.
So this lets you to get extra uses out of those Dragon Tails, those Gift of Our Breads, whatever it is you want to use.
One thing I've been assuming is you name an event in your discard pile, so let's say Dragon Tail, and you can play it as if it's in your hand. If you do, shuffle it back into your deck.
Yeah.
If there are 3 in there, I assume you can use all 3.
I guess so. Can't see why not.
Just, choose an event.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how we've been playing it.
Again, if there's any rules lawyers that know otherwise, please let us know. And we will apologise.
Not that I think it actually happened, but...
No, but it's good to inform viewers, right?
Of course.
Of course.
Of course.
So, I played Rationing in the last round, not for any particular reason other than it was a plot with good gold. I didn't know that it was really going to do anything. It doesn't really affect my side. Might have affected your side if you had something that I've not seen yet.
I think the only thing is without his beard.
Yeah.
Which I think I did have in hand.
Okay.
So I could have blanked your plot with the Acolyte if I really wanted to. Right, so here's another mill mechanic. I've opted for the City of Secrets, which is each player draws 2 cards. So again, that's forcing you to draw even more cards. And then if you don't have a city plot in your used pile, you must discard 2 cards. So Rebecca was playing a winter deck. So no city plot in Rebecca's used pile. So she will draw 2 and then discard 2. But at the moment she's triggering her plot Time for Wolves. Just so she can draw another card, I guess.
Yeah. Desperate for that card.
Self-mill.
Yeah. So it is worth noting that even if your opponent does have a city plot in the discard, in the plot use pile. It's still worth playing the City of Secrets because you're still making them draw an extra 2 cards. All these extra cards that they're drawing, it's still getting you closer and closer to your target of making them, wipe out their entire deck. A card that we've not seen on your side yet, but I know you have, is the location that lets you draw 3 cards in the draw phase instead of 2.
The Shield Island.
That's the one. So Shield Islands as well. If you can get that early on as a mill player, your opponent is drawing an extra card a turn just automatically. And again, just getting them closer and closer to milling the deck. Now, it is worth noting that I'm playing Stark Fealty, so it is a normal sort of 60, 61 card deck. Obviously, there are new agendas out recently, and old agendas as well, that allow you to use more cards in the deck. So Valyrian Steel and Alliance are both 75 card decks. So these are obviously going to be slightly harder to mill. In the 2 games that we played, I feel like you managed to mill me quite comfortably. So, it would be interesting to see how the mill works against the bigger deck.
I think one of the harder things for mill deck, in my opinion, this may not be true, but Alliance Cohort and Cohort decks, because they have an element of control and they do like plots, like Bar in the Gates and King in the North. So you have to make sure you've got your Acolyte out for the barring or your Tommen for the King plot, because if you don't, that slows your mill down. And the Alliance Cohort deck can go really fast. So fast decks, again, are a problem for mill. And I can see Fast Eddie on the board. Yeah,
so again, my thinking being, I know that I need to go fast, you're trying to mill me, so Fast Eddie will let me try and speed up that power gain.
I know Hanno prefers fortified position, but I've opted for 3 milks in this deck because fortified position, I didn't really want my retinues turned off.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Although, I wonder if the retinues still trigger, because you trigger them from shadows. So you trigger their action from shadows to bring them out.
Oh, right.
So I'm not sure if they still triggered. So I just went safe and didn't play fortified position and played milks instead.
So just in your marshalling there.
Right, yeah.
I've got
my location. So what have I got?
The Hollow
Hill? Yep. So in Dominant, you can search the top 10 cards of your deck and add a non-loyal character to hand. That's really handy when you're looking for retinues or another left or right dupe to take on some military claim or a nefarious acolyte.
Yeah. So although it's not doing anything to your opponent's deck, it is allowing you to find the tools to make sure that you're, able to speed up the process of destroying your opponent's deck.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Is this something that was recommended by Hanno or Whammo, or was this something that you put in?
Hanno had it.
Hanno had it
as a one-off, along with the new Iron Throne, which I play in the game after this.
Yeah.
Which we will show you, and it was helpful, I guess.
Yeah, it was. It was really annoying, actually. It might be worth noting, as we mentioned at the beginning of this video, this is the first of 2 videos. So this video is a video demonstrating how a mill deck works, just against a sort of regular deck that isn't necessarily trying to, play against a mill deck. In the next video, we do have a deck. Richard already mentioned that Cohort is a strong agenda against mills, so we do have a Cohort deck.
Yeah, we're going to try it against Cohort and see how it goes.
Yeah, so the Cohort deck has got a few bits in it that will try and fight against a mill deck, so we can have a look in the next video at how that works.
I'm just going to look through my list of characters. There's only 24 characters in the mill deck.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and the only character we haven't mentioned, I think, is Old Bill Bone, who's the one of. Not really sure why he's in it. I guess he's quite useful to shut down Sea of Blood for a turn, maybe.
Yeah.
Range decks, whatever.
We mentioned that high aggro might be an issue for the mill deck. And
Free folk.
Yeah.
But he's only a one-off.
Yeah.
So there's 24 characters, there's 9 attachment, and there's the 3 glass candle, 3 milked, and 3 unexpected guile. 17 locations I have, which are 3 arbor, 3 wed wine straits, 1 gates of the moon and 1 gates of the gods. That turns on the gates. And then the other locations are 2 Guildhall, 2 Old Town Undercity. So with the retinue coming in and out shadows can trigger the Old Town Undercity, which gives you basically the card you want of the top 3 in your deck, and you can put a useless one at the bottom. That's quite handy to make sure that your own draw is good. If you don't have Guiles or everything, whatever. There we go. Bring Guile out of shadow, trigger the Undercity.
Yeah.
We have the Hollow Hill and Iron Throne, like we said, and we also have the 3 Shield Islands.
Mm-hmm. Not that we've seen any yet.
Nope. And then we have 11 events. So I've got 3 Without His Beard, 3 Clever Feint, 3 Dragon Tail, and 2 Gift of Arbor Red.
Mm.
So that's what's in the deck. I mean, there are arguments to have other cards. So I think Jane Walmsley was considering a different angle to it. So he also has Shadow of the Rose, which I think is a really good shout, because when that comes out of Shadows, you can search for the top 10 cards of your deck, and you look for a card with Shadow, and you put it into Shadows. And then if there's a summer plot, you bring Shadow of the Rose back to hand. So what that does, you do pay 4 for it, but it does cover the cost of the card you find going into Shadow. So it's another good way to find the Queen's Retinue or Unexpected Guile and putting it into Shadows ready. So I didn't play that one because, time, pressure and space of deck. But that's a good shout.
I noticed he's also suggested the Bear and the Maiden Fair, which again is a good way of just getting through some of those cards.
Yeah, just filtering your deck a little bit, finding the cards you need.
Because if you know that you're going to Dragon's Tail somebody, you can play that, put the 2 decent ones on the top, and then just mill them with the Dragon's Tail, for example. Not Dragon's Tail, sorry. Glass Candles or something like that. Okay,
yeah. I think you'd normally play it on yourself. So you can find your own cards, find the cards you need, put the ones you don't need at the bottom, so you're more likely to draw the ones you do need.
So we've talked about Bear and the Maiden Fair. Is there anything else in those decks that you haven't included that you feel might be interesting?
Well, Whammer didn't include Milks.
Okay.
That's the thing. He didn't have Hollow Hill or Iron Throne. He did have some different characters that he was trying. Old Town Informer. Sparrows as well is another card you can use with the Unexpected Guard to increase your own power gain. So I think his ideas for decks had a plan B kind of thing to increase your own power gain too. Yeah.
Whereas I feel like this particular deck that you're playing is literally just, I need to mill you, otherwise I die.
Yeah, one Archivist and you don't have the Guildhall out, then bad news, right?
But I mean, a lot of decks don't run the Archivist. So I think mill decks are generally safe from that kind of thing. At best, a deck might be running Isle of Ravens, but only 1 card shuffle back per turn. It isn't great. I mean, it helps. Sometimes it's just that 1 card, but yeah, it's slow. You've used 2 Without His Beards there on your Intrigue win.
So you've drawn another 4 cards out your deck?
Yeah. And you can see now that my discard pile and my draw pile are about the same height. So, which is concerning because I obviously have cards on the board and in hand as well. So I'm definitely over halfway through the deck now.
What's this, plot 3?
Yeah, we're currently on plot 3.
I mean, some people don't like playing against mill. They say it's NPE, a negative player experience. But
I prefer it to the wall.
I mean, I don't think I've won any quicker than like 5 plots. And 5 plots is quick enough to win the game for a lot of decks.
Yeah.
And like we said earlier, with this kind of mill deck, you are seeing all your cards. So if you have the answers, you will get the answers generally. Unless there's a freak incident where it gets taken for intrigue claim, or if it's Without His Bearded.
Yeah, I guess the thing with the Ghost to High Heart is you wait until you've forced your opponent to draw loads of cards. Then you Ghost to High Heart and you can have a look, see which one might be an issue and get rid of that card.
Yeah, so I got rid of Pinch because I think in one of the practice games, although you were pretty much already milled in the practice game, you did pinch the Retinue, which was annoying.
Yeah. I also used Pinch earlier in this game. I used it to pinch right
Right looks left.
Left?
Left is pinched.
Yeah, I think it was left I pinched. So, I mean, that was good because getting one off the board meant that you no longer had that non-kneeling, you no longer had those extra icons. So for you, I imagine that was quite irritating and maybe slowed down your slowing down of me. Did you want to run through the other deck?
Hanno's idea, this is pretty similar to Hanno's, except the character base.
Mm-hmm.
He got Tyrion, Tickler, the Gregor's Marauders and Red Cloaks, along with Ocean Roads. Words, I don't quite have those. I've gone with a different character suite with the left and right double dupe for the stall.
I think the Tickler's quite a nice idea because not only are you going to be helping to get that deck milled, you're also possibly withdrawing some of the problem characters on the board. So if you're lucky, you might hit a character that's on the board that's got renown on it or something. Yep,
and the Gregor's Marauders, they all have pillage. So that's the thing. But he also has Bottom Adam, Angai, the Emissary, goes to High Heart, and of course the Retinue. So they're all similar kind of cards that are doing a similar kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. And I can see that the plot lineup is almost exactly the same, right?
Of Hanno's? No, completely different.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he's looking to leverage a Game of Thrones to slow down.
Oh, I was looking at the plot list, and it was your plot list, and I was like, oh, I think that's basically the same.
And he's looking to leverage King in the North himself, along with fortified position, that kind of thing. But it's worth, I guess, taking a look at Hanno's original mill list that he posted on Thrones DB, the Tyrell Kraken, the one from Thrones War. Let's have a look at that. So in that he ran Forced March, again that kind of stall because it slows your opponent down. Fortified Position, Double Late Summer Feast, Naval, Time of Plenty and an Uneasy Truce.
I'd just like to point out my decision making here on the Valador Hydus. So Rob and Ned were both milk, so I decided to put them at the bottom because I figured I'm probably going to draw them again at some point and I might be able to play them out without the milk.
You're probably going to draw them real soon.
Yeah. And then I wasn't so sure about the Last Health Scouts or the Scepter. I liked the Scepter because she was keeping Sansa strong and giving her a noun, which made it... it was basically one of my win conditions to try and rush out.
There's no one dead, so she's strong.
Exactly, yeah. Whereas the Scouts were slowing you down with the Retinues. I decided to keep the Scepter. I'm still not sure if that was the right decision. I do run more Scouts in the deck, which I hadn't seen yet, so I could have drawn another one. But yeah, maybe I should have... I don't know. I'm still not sure if keeping the Scout would have been better or not, because by not having the Scout, it means that you are now free to use the Retinues repeatedly and put them back into shadows. So yeah, we'll see how that goes.
We will see how it goes.
I do decide to get out Summer to grab a Bran. You've been using your events that have obviously been milling me. So I figure Bran can at least stop me losing a couple more cards.
Worth pointing out, Exposed Duplicity might have hurt.
Yeah. 3
cards in shadows, would have been a shame to lose them, would have slowed the mill deck down.
Yeah, because that would have been Retinues and Unexpected Guile.
And the Guildhall.
Oh, and the Guildhall, yeah.
So those 3 cards, I mean, losing those 3 cards would slow down my tempo because my main source of removing your cards is...
the Retinues.
It's gone, yeah. So that's something to be wary of. In Hanno's original Tyrell Kraken mill list, he went down the pillage route, which we spoke of before. You got Andric, the Unsmiling, has pillage. Baelor Blacktide is another good one because it means your opponent can only play 1 copy of any event. And if you're milling cards, that's a lot of events they can no longer play. Gold Good Brother. He pillages, doesn't he? Or does he just have renown? No, I think he just has renown.
I'm not sure, to be honest.
The Marauders, that clears out your hand. There's a lot of things. Silence's Crew, Tris Botley, all with pillage. So they're just removing cards from the deck, putting them in the discard pile. And Tris Botley and Andric and Baelor Blacktide as an element of control. And of course, Greyjoy brings Scouting Vessel as well.
Yeah.
He also had the one of High Garden, which is, control for certain challenges.
Mm-hmm.
That's quite handy. He had Begging Brother in there instead of the Guild Hall. But Hanno doesn't like running resets generally, I believe. He does post a lot of decks that do not have many resets.
I always find that really risky. So you've got 2 glass candles on the Acolyte now, so using both those candles to discard the next 2 cards in my deck. And it's like my discard pile is definitely bigger than my draw pile now.
Oh, 4 cards from Shadow. That's dangerous.
Maybe another Retinue?
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
So I'm thinking here, I've got 2 renowned characters. I've got a little bit of protection from events. I want to try and get some renown. I'm
secretly happy because I know Bran's got insight, and I know that I'm going to remind you of it if you ever win a challenge with him.
You know what? I kind of forgotten about that. I don't think I'd have drawn, to be fair.
Bran's got insight. Would you like to draw?
So I went for an intrigue. I kind of forgot about the Ghost of the High Heart's strength buff, which was a little bit irritating. So I'm doing an intrigue for 9 strength with Sansa and the Scepter.
Yep, so I brought out the Retinue and triggered the Old Town Under City to get another card in my hand and put something on top of my deck. I've got the Guile. Oh, no, I don't. I have another Retinue.
Mm-hmm. I'm getting very close to the end of my deck here.
But you're 8-1 up. You're winning.
Am I? I don't feel like I'm winning at this point.
Almost definitely winning. So I can win the challenge now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, quite comfortably.
Yeah, because they Retinue the 5 each. And one of them has Guile. So I can defend and win. And then get that card back into Shadows, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
And bring it out again, which is nice.
But I was quite happy when you did this, because I was like, I still got Lady. And I was just about to go and start doing it. And then you were like, wait a minute. I was like, no, don't put anyone else in. I want to win this challenge.
I'm like, hang on. So they're actually 8 strength. 7 strength. I've forgotten the boost for the Ghost of High Heart. I was like, so that's 7 strength. And he's 4 strength. That's 11. Because I know you've got Lady.
Okay. You say you remember I've got Lady. We'll take it. So you've defended then with... Yeah, you're putting in the Ghost as well. So you've defended with enough that even if I move Lady across, it wouldn't do anything. It hears me saying like, yeah, I was going to move Lady across. But, it's fine. But you winning the Intrigue Challenge, can you trigger without his bid on defence? I can't remember.
Yep.
Yeah? So yeah, I kind of wanted to win the challenge because I knew I wanted to try and keep getting that renown on Sansa. And also I was a little bit worried about without his beard. But luckily he didn't have it, so it wasn't too bad. But you stopped me from getting that extra renown to try and sort of rush to that win. Maybe I should have put an extra character in. I don't know. Because Arya has stealth and an intrigue icon with the scepter on the board.
But presumably you're going to try and win power with that, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to go all in power, bit of stealth. No? Military. Okay. I mean, military is impactful because I don't really want to lose any of those characters. So I'm just going to take the dupe off of right. Yep. But you really just want to push through power and just win power challenges, don't you?
Yeah.
So Daisy would have helped you do that, but I'm not sure you can do that now.
I think I can. You don't have that much power, I think.
Yeah. I've got a Retinue. One. I don't have any gold for Guile. I've got 2 Retinue, that's 5 strength, plus either left or right. That's 14. Angai. So I've got about 17, I think.
Yeah, I think maybe I miscalculated. I think I forgot again about the ghosts.
Ghost of High Heart.
Yeah.
So Sander is, 8 strength? there's no one in the dead pile. So Scepter gives her +2, Lady gives her +2. So yeah, so I think 10 strength, but you stealth somebody.
Yeah. Plus Zara as well.
There we go, defending for 13. To your 10.
Yeah, I kept forgetting about the well, A, that the retinue could just come out without power, without gold, sorry. And also I don't know why I just kept forgetting about the ghost's ability to boost everyone.
What's your plot there? Behind the gate.
Yeah, you blanked
So
it.
I blanked it with the Nefarious Acolyte, so that's where it becomes golden. I tried to play Clever Feint. I actually have 2 in hand.
Oh, okay.
So I think I should play the next one after standing.
Is it once per phase then? Oh, so
Nail
you
the
have to nail the
faction,
faction card,
yeah.
yeah.
So just one of them.
I'll get rid of Ari's dupe for claim there. I felt like having more borders on the board was important. And also, Ari was still a Bicon, as she had the intrigue from the Scepter. So I thought that she was still useful.
You still got quite a amount of power. You've only got 6 to go. It's just trying to get through that wall of people.
Yeah, I think I messed up a little bit that round. I think I probably should have just gone in for the power. So a big power challenge with Sansa and Daisy and Arya to help get this through with the stealth. But I think I was trying to be a bit too clever there.
But this is sometimes what happens when you play against a mill deck for the first time. You don't really think about how to combat it. Sometimes you're not really sure exactly what you should be doing. So by having a video like this, which will raise awareness.
Like you're raising money for charity.
Raising money for mill decks.
Yeah. So you play Clever Feint to put the retinues back into shadows. If I had exposed duplicity here, that would be really handy. You've got some really annoying cards in shadows at the moment. So 2 retinues. You've got the location, is it Chateau City? The one that... No, that's not right, is it? What's the one that cancels?
Alchemist Guildhall.
Yeah, I was really far off. And the Guile.
Obviously, that's not really a concern for me because you're Stark. But the Citadel Archivist doesn't really see a lot of playing Stark because it messes up the whole if you only control Stark characters shtick. But you've clearly got an old gate there, so I don't expect a Citadel Archiver. Yeah. And I don't expect exposed duplicity. Your previous plot behaviour doesn't indicate that you have it. Could there have been 3 cards in shadows in the previous round and no exposed duplicity, so I could have just triggered the I couldn't actually because behind the gates is what the Nefarious Acolyte blanked it for the phase, not the round.
I have a quick question.
Yeah, what's your question?
So my plot was Heir to the Iron Throne, where you take the top 10 cards and search, right?
Right.
Yeah, for a lord or lady.
Yeah.
If, in searching those top 10 cards, I had less than 10 cards, does that count as milling myself? Because I have to search top 10 cards, I don't have 10 cards.
No.
Okay, that's good. Because I was really worried about it when I played the plot, and I was like, oh shit, does this mean that, like, I mill myself if I get to 10 cards and there's no cards left?
No, because it's still part of your deck, even when you're searching it.
Okay, that's a relief. So I've managed to find Rob and sacrificed Arya for the Rob. Again, I know power is important, I know renown's important, so I'm thinking, get the Rob out and just try and rush with the renown. I was feeling quite happy here. I was thinking, got 3 renown characters on the board, one of them I can use twice. If I can get Rob standing everyone again, that'd be fantastic.
And I was thinking, damn, I hope Rebecca doesn't think she can rush. I better play Uneasy Truth. So if she does challenges, she has to give me power.
Yeah.
That will encourage you not to make challenges, which will give me time to get my mill off.
I mean, I have, I think 9 cards left in the deck at this point.
Well, I've got 2 glass candles on a Maester. I have 2 retinues in the shadows, so we know that's 6 cards.
Minimum.
Last Hearth Scout.
Yeah, I thought they might be important. And the Winterfell to give everyone a strength boost. Try and counter that Ghost of High Heart.
And you can shut down shenanigans mid-challenge. Although, luckily, for the mill deck, you can trigger your retinue in any action window.
And I'm going for a bit of stand as well.
Bit of stand, yeah.
So I was feeling quite happy here. Like I say, so that's Sansa can restand with Lady. And then I can use the Northern Armoury to restand someone as well. So I was thinking, like, you know, I can potentially get 5 renown out here. But you've got a 3rd glass candle.
Yeah, I'm afraid it's game over for you. Because I have 3 retinues now. And 3 glass candles. So if you have 9 cards in your deck, it's game over. You're just drawing cards off your deck like crazy.
So I had I think I've got 2 there.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to take an action. Was I not? Oh, okay. I thought I was going to sacrifice the gate.
That was in the practice game.
Oh, was it? So yeah, Richard obviously milled me there. He didn't even use all of the glass candles. Still managed to do it. And any other tricks you had in hand, you had the... Oh, what's that card called? Where you get to trigger something in the discard pile.
Oh, the Emissary of the High Tower.
Yeah, so you had the Emissary that could have potentially been used before I could win to trigger things from the discard. So if we got to the next plot phase especially, I was definitely going anyway.
We're just discussing the Shield Island draw phase thing with the Dragon Tail. Not sure what the answer is there, but we're assuming you draw 3.
So we'll round this up then. So this is the first of the 2 videos. We'll do another video discussing counters to the mill deck, which will be featuring the Barrow Cohort versus the Tyrell Lion. So we will see you for part 2. And thanks as always for everyone for watching. If you would like to support the channel, you can do so by going to patreon.com/The White Walkers.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you in part 2.
Goodbye.
Bye.